In a world where you can edit your memories, are you without them? If you were wiped clean, would your soul survive? I am David, and this is ViewWindow, where we use interactive media as a lens for insight into real-world problems. For instance, imagine what it would be like if you could play back every memory you've ever had with perfect clarity. Every smell, touch, and sensation, exactly as the day it happened. What if you could share it? What if you could edit and even delete unwanted memories? This is the world of Remember Me, developed by DONTNOD Entertainment, whom you may know from Life is Strange. Remember Me truly immerses you in the cyberpunk world of Neo-Paris, to explore the true meaning of memory and self. Today we are bringing you the most insightful and challenging parts of that experience, which might even change how you view yourself. In Remember Me, the world has been transformed by the invention of the sensation engine, or Sensen. The Sensen digitally records every memory, and can simulate each of the 5 senses, enabling them to be replayed, traded, or even deleted. Your first kiss, the birth of your son, that one epic concert you went to that completely blew your mind, all of these are available for the right price. And you get to experience every sensation, thought, and emotion as if it was your own memory. And as you might expect, many people use the Sensen to edit their experiences, only keeping good memories while deleting any pain or strife from recollection. But would doing this change who you are? The prevailing common belief is that our personality is derived from our experiences. Every sight, scent, and scraped knee builds on top of one another to mold and sculpt us into our present selves. And who we are is the sum of our collective memories. Which would mean that without these memories, we would be someone else entirely. A blank slate. This is where Remember Me begins. Someone has used the Sensen to erase all of your memories. You begin the game with no recollection of anything except for your name, Nilin. You are then immediately fed conflicting orders. One side wants you to calmly proceed down the corridor in what appears to be a medical facility, while another stranger urges you to escape. With no information to go on, what do you choose? Even after the stranger reveals that he knows you by name, can you trust him? You have no way to tell if they're lying. And even if they aren't, how do you know the person that you were before wasn't a completely different person than you are now? As the game progresses, we find that although Nilin's memories are gone, she is still herself. She is not a blank slate. She has clear qualities that persist beyond any explanation. She is determined, unrelenting, and often reckless and hasty in her choices. The player is not free to mold Nilin through each playthrough. The choices are hers, and she makes the same ones each time. And even though she has a lack of information due to her amnesia, her choices are still determined by her personality based on what information she does have. The most interesting part is that this phenomenon is also true in real life. There is a particularly interesting essay on this topic by Dr. Daniel J. Levitin, titled Amnesia and the Self That Remains When Memory is Lost. In it, Dr. Levitin tells a story about his colleague, Tom, whom he went to school with. It had been a few years since Dr. Levitin had seen Tom, and one day he received word that Tom only had a few months to live. He was told Tom had a tumor in the temporal lobe of his brain, one of the key areas for memory retention. And because of this, Tom was diagnosed with retrograde amnesia, meaning that he would gradually lose his memories. Not his ability to form new ones, but his ability to retrieve old ones. This condition is similar to a real-life version of what you've seen in movies like Memento or 50 First Dates, except that it destroys all memories, not just the ones from after the diagnosis. This almost never occurs in real life. Although retrograde amnesia is real, it's usually the result of a tumor, stroke, or other organic brain trauma, rather than physical damage. Thus, with this knowledge, Dr. Levitin went to visit Tom one last time. When Tom walked in, I stood up. He came over and shook my hand, and he sang more than he spoke. "Thank you for coming." Those eyes, the intense, gripping eyes locked onto mine and stayed locked as we shook hands. Even as we both sat down, I broke the gaze to look him over. His hair was thinning, he'd lost weight, but otherwise he looked the same as I remembered him. The same narrow face, the same guileless smile. "I don't know if anyone told you," he started, still half singing and cheerful, "but I have a brain tumor that affects my memory." I nodded. "Please forgive me for asking this, but I do this with everybody. Could you tell me your name again, and how it is that I know you?" My name is Dan. Dan Levitin. There is neither recognition nor unrecognition. Just a calm, interested face staring back at me. "We were students together at Stanford," I continued. "We took a couple of psychology classes together." "Oh yes, I have a degree in psychology." After this meeting, Dr. Levitin remarks, "I walked down the stairs, past the rows and rows of identical apartment buildings, back to my car. Then I sat there in my car with the key in the ignition, not wanting to move." Professor Pribram felt that when we lose our memory, we lose our entire sense of self. When I saw Tom, something fundamentally Tom was still there. Some of us call it personality or essence. Some call it the soul. Whatever it is, the tumor that took Tom's memories had not touched it. Without his memories, Tom was still Tom. His personality, who he was still intact. The same intense, polite, inquisitive man that was there before. So even without your memories, your personality remains. But what happens when your memories are altered, not deleted? As Remember Me progresses, Nilin relearns that she is a memory hunter, someone with the ability to use Sensen Technology to access and alter someone's memories remotely without their consent. It is at this point that you are attacked by a bounty hunter, Olga Sedova, that has been sent after you by Memorize, the makers of the Sensen. In the scuffle, Nilin remixes Olga's recent memories of the last time she saw her husband. This is where we see one of the coolest mechanics in the game. You get to scrub through the character's memory and alter elements, making small changes that have drastically different outcomes. You remix Olga's memory, making her believe that Memorize didn't treat her husband, but instead killed him. Olga instantly changes from foe to friend and joins you to strike against Memorize. With the ability to remix memories, you can turn enemies into allies, change the way a person views the world, or even get someone to commit suicide. But again, changing someone's memories doesn't change who they are or how they react to situations. It merely changes what information they have to act on. Although sometimes, that's more than enough. So, do we exist in our memories? I don't think so. Our memories are important to who we are, beliefs we hold, and how we understand ourselves. But even without them, our essence undeniably remains. But does that mean that if we can edit them, we can do so without worry? Probably not, and that is the conclusion reached in Remember Me. While the motivations behind the Sensen and memory remixing were among the best of intentions, the abuse of this technology is far too tempting and dangerous. How many times have you looked back on a past failure or mistake and wished that it had never happened? How many times have you wanted to help someone let go of a painful past that they themselves cannot? Imagine if with a few keystrokes, it could be different. You could be different. Not having those bad memories should allow you to continue living without dwelling in the past, but to say there is no drawback would be a serious mistake. You are not really moving forward. It is said that we learn far more from failure than success. The pain of our past shortcomings is what motivates us to explore new things, and learn what might have helped us in that situation. Striking that pain from our minds is not the same as overcoming it. Turning a blind eye to history hinders our forward progress, both as individuals and as a society. We would be destined to make the same mistake again if we do not learn from it. We wouldn't grow as people without failure. But that also doesn't mean that I'm totally against this technology either. Think of the understanding, the insight that could be gained from literally seeing through someone else's eyes, feeling what they felt, thinking what they thought. The difference between empathizing and truly knowing what someone is going through, a button press away. This technology is just like any other. With the proper application, it would have the possibility to revolutionize the world. Through its abuse, it could stagnate and destroy our society. Of course, I think that's also been said of other technology and media. So what do you think? Are we different people without our memories? Would the Sensen or similar technologies destroy us all, leaving us in a haze or wallowing in fantasy? If you like this episode of ViewWindow or are interested in hearing more about the topic of memory and how it relates to the self, we have a companion podcast where we discuss this subject more in depth. We discuss a bit more of memory remixing and how it affects a person, philosophical quandaries and morality, the societal effects of rewritable memory, as well as a few more things we didn't have time for in this video. Also, if you like what you've seen in ViewWindow, hit subscribe to get more ViewWindow goodness and check out Screen Time, the sort of sister series run 2 weeks before and after ViewWindow that covers similar theory and analysis using television and film. We will be releasing one ViewWindow or Screen Time every 2 weeks. If there is something you think we missed, or that you would like to see us cover, let us know in the comments section below. If you'd like to help us keep making awesome videos, check out our Patreon and pledge to receive awesome perks and support us in making these videos. Once again, I'm David of Mirth Machine. Thanks for watching.